Hey, don't forget to check out Rose City merch. It's the perfect way to show your love and support for the show. From comfy tees to cool mugs and tumblers, there's something for everyone. Head over to our website now and grab your favorites. The link will be in the description. Thank you. Back to the show. Welcome to Rose City, the After Show, the podcast where we dive into the popular novel of the wonderful world, Rose City, by author Karina Q. In each episode, we will be discussing a different aspect of the book, from the complex characters to the intricate plot twists and everything in between. Check out Rose City on to stay up to date as we explore unique perspectives and insights on the story. Hey, Miss Alicia, how are you feeling today?
I'm doing good, Miss Lady. How you doing?
I'm doing good. You looking good. I'm loving the hair. I was telling her this morning that her look is very much giving me brats. I'm really, really, really loving it. Like the
Mhm.
lipstick, eyeshadow, and the hair. I was like, yes. Out here killing the game and stomping on people's necks. Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Okay.
So let's go step it on them, baby. Let's go to the first icebreaker question, which we only have one. It
Mhm.
says, it's directly related to the chapter and something that happens at the end. It says, when is it okay to start opening your boyfriend's door and answering his phone? Question mark. Should you wait for like that permission to be told, yes, you can open up my front door. Yes, you're welcome to answer my phone. Or is it safe to assume because you're in a relationship and you doing the do that it's okay to answer the door and answer that phone? What do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, okay. In Malia and Chan's situation, they're like up already, eating and whatever. Now, if I'm asleep, I let him answer the door. But like if he's outside or he's occupied or some mess and somebody comes to the door, he clearly doesn't hear the door. Yeah, I'm his woman. Like, why wouldn't I? That's crazy. Like if it's another female, it's like, yo, can I help you? And if it's
I
a
help you.
dude, it's like, oh, okay, let me get him for a minute. I'm
Right.
cool. Yeah, at that point, especially we in a relationship now.
Right.
If it's just a smash, no. But we don't do those. We
I'm not
don't.
coming over for that.
Yeah,
We're not doing just a
we're
smash.
not. We're
So.
not doing. I don't do that. So yeah, once you enter the kingdom, so to speak,
To the kingdom.
that's it, boo. That's
Mhm. We
we go
locked and
together
loaded.
bad. Who said that? That girl Diddy was messing with.
Young Miami. We go together real bad. Real bad. Yeah. So I feel like there is kind of like, because see, my mama always taught me this, and me and Alicia, we always laugh about people need to learn how to be guests in other people's homes. Like, stop coming over just thinking that you're entitled to stuff. Like, be a guest.
Mhm.
I definitely feel like if we're first together, I don't want to just start, picking up your phone or doing this. I don't want you to think I'm crazy. I am a little on the crazy side. However, I do know boundaries and I do know limitations. But I do think that as time goes on in that relationship, if your phone is ringing and you're in the shower or you're out in the garage doing something, I can grab it, bring it to you or answer it. And if that's a problem, why
Why?
is that a problem?
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, I don't care. If I'm doing something and somebody comes to the door, get the door. If for me, if I'm doing something and the phone is ringing, you can bring it to me or you can answer it. I don't have nothing to hide, baby. I'm an open book like the Bible.
Well,
We okay?
I'd be like,
Yeah, but people will really get upset with you. And again, I don't want to overstep boundaries.
Mhm.
I don't want to be doing too much. I want to do what is enough. But if we've been together for quite some time and, I'm like, here's your phone, and the person snatched the phone and you're like,
Like,
what are you hiding? Because the fact that you don't want me putting my hands on your phone, like that kind of stuff, is a little bit extreme. Again, I don't have nothing to hide, so you can have my pin code or whatever. I mean, I'm not hiding and I'm not doing nothing, so I don't care. Like, if you want to check my messages, that's cool. Like, there ain't nothing up in it, so I have nothing to hide. But I think that when people do have some other things on the side going on, they can be really overprotective over their phone. I think that phone can be a red flag if somebody's scared about leaving their phone around. It's just like they have a nervous breakdown. Like, I remember it was a long time ago. My husband's phone died. He's
mhm.
like, I gotta go to Safeway. Can I just take your phone with me? And I was like, oh, that's cool. Whatever. I was in the middle of writing a paper for school. I wasn't like, is it really necessary?
Well, let me see
You
your
know,
purse.
uh,
Start-
you know, yeah, people have to do a lot of extra stuff. So yeah. But yeah, like I said, at the end of the day, if it's like we just started dating yesterday, I'm definitely not gonna be answering your phone, your all that. I think it comes with time. After we've been together for a while, you trust me, I trust you. Shouldn't be a problem, picking up your phone or giving you your phone if it's ringing. It just really shouldn't be that big of a deal. But I definitely understood Malia being like, listen, sorry, we just started getting it popping. That's your door. I'm in the middle of eating this bacon. You handle that. We'll see who that is. So definitely conversations, and then fill out where people are at, because sometimes people's past relationships have been very traumatic, and maybe they had a significant other or a partner who really like did the most, and maybe now they have trauma behind, people touching their phones because, maybe somebody's just doing way too much. So, I mean, I just feel like it's really about playing it by ear, catching the vibe on what's going on with that person. But if I'm getting some red flags about you in the phone, or, you trying to hide behind the door because you don't want me, what's happening here? So something to pay attention to. Again, for me, I'm a kind of like an open book, I don't care, answer the phone. But that's me. Some other people a little different, so, but if there's weirdness and hesitation and y'all been together for a while, you probably need to check that. You probably need to look into it, because it could lead you to something else, that's it,
Some very important intel.
That's a very important red flag that you cannot ignore. So, what were your initial thoughts on chapter 47, the morning after, part 1?
My initial thought, my overall thought, I don't know if I just read it in a certain way or whatever, if I was in my feels, but I kind of feel like Malia was it wasn't what I expected. I thought Malia would be so, oh babe, and da. She's more like, the fuck? Like, did we just do that? Like, like it seemed like that's more like an attitude. That's what I'm.
Yeah, I definitely sensed that too, like, when I was reading it last night. Yeah, and what I was wondering, because he had added something to the drink, right? Like, is that a side effect of that drug? Like, I was wearing, because she woke up, she was a little, she was feeling kind of like lightheaded. And the thing was, she didn't even tell him, oh, my head hurts. He was like, here, take 2 of these pills for your head. I'm like, oh, so you know what the side effects are of what you gave me.
No, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Definitely.
So that was, she had way more to drink. And that pill. So I think she was kind of waking up like a little groggy, like,
hungover. Well, you
she was all like, maybe that cat is sore. You feel like you gotta hang on, like,
up, my head hurt. What's going on?
Yeah, it was like, So I definitely feel like if she would have just woken up and it would have just been like a regular situation, absolutely. But I think having whatever slipped in her drink, having a lot of alcohol, being sore, she was like, I want to get the hell out of here.
You just want to get home at this point. Like, I gotta go.
She pulled it, Alicia. I need to get home. I want to be here. Y'all got me tell you something. If Alicia is ever uncomfortable, it's a rat baby. She's going home. Can't nothing stop her but an angel from heaven.
Nothing.
And even then, they're gonna have to fight her.
It's your own birthday. We haven't even cut the cake yet.
She don't care.
What did I say? I'm going home.
She doesn't care. She's leaving.
Yes, I don't. When it's time for me to go,
leaving each and every time. Every time she's leaving. So yeah, I did. I read that part last night. It was so funny because, again, you'd be like, don't you remember this? Nope. I was reading it and I was like, she's just not like, I always thought that she woke up like, oh, that was just so amazing. And, just running her fingers through her hair, thinking about everything he did to her, all the naughty stuff, right?
It finally happened, and he tore it down. Like,
he tore it down.
But she wasn't upset. He put it in. And so I really thought for a minute that, that's how she would wake up. Like, oh yes.
I think he thought that she was gonna wake up like that too. And then it was like, I think he was a little bit taken back, like, why are you trying to leave, man? Like, where are you going?
He's like, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, it was. I definitely had that same vibe as well. So folks, we'll go right into our recap. This is the morning after. We covered last week, we did the whole 2 chapters. We combined all that passion and fire together, right? So that has been added together finally.
I was waiting.
Then Alicia was scared because it was like, whoa, the dude went down, baby.
Like, she really went there.
Maybe she put it on him too. Okay.
I mean, throwing it back, but
yeah, she threw it back. So this is the morning after. It's waking up to this really nice room. Like, oh, he got a nice view. Look at these Florida, ceiling windows and whatnot. And he is just he comes to her and he's like, oh, how are you doing? That type of thing. And he lets her know that his chef has made breakfast. Everything's prepared for them on the balcony. And they're just enjoying themselves. They're kind of talking and just letting life happen around them. But there are a couple of things that are happening during this conversation. Like one of the things that we're going to go into later on is a question. Like when she woke up, she was looking for her phone. There was no phone. And she's like, where the hell is my phone at? You know, and he comes in, he goes, oh, I took it because it was dying. I wanted the charger. You couldn't have found a charger and brought it next to your bed?
Probably had it charged up. Just
he was like, let me see this. I want to see if I need to send myself some of these pictures, you know, from your phone that maybe I don't have of you. You know, because ladies, we always take pictures of ourselves and we just don't post them or whatever, but we just have a ton of photos in our phones, right?
Yeah, you got to remember though, he got her under surveillance. So even
I know, but he's like, no, I want something from a different angle across the street. I want it where you was like, you know, that type thing. So I don't know what he had the phone for, but he took the phone and tried to pretend like he was charging it out in the other room. Like, yeah, right, bro. Bring that stuff in here. Like, stop playing with me. Bring the charger in here. So yeah, she wakes up and then she realizes when she woke up that it was past 9 o'clock and she was supposed to meet her mom and her grandmother. And so she's freaking out. She's like, no. Malia knows that she comes from her grandmother and her mother, and they're a stickler when it comes to time. If you're saying you're going to do something, you need to do it, and you do need to be on time. So she's freaking out because she knew she's going to get told off. And then to her surprise, after having a panic attack, she looks at her phone and it's like 9:30, and her grandmother and mother have canceled on her because her sister, Veronica, who's getting married, her fiance's parents drove down from Seattle. So they wanted to get together instead. So I guess Malia wasn't invited to that. So I mean, maybe that kind of rubbed her the wrong way because she seemed like she was irritated. Like, okay, so I got canceled on, so y'all could do that with them. But like, weren't we supposed to go like shopping? Were we supposed to have like breakfast together? So I got 86 out of all of that. As if you're afraid I'm going to show up and say the wrong thing. I know how to behave in public. I've been to college. I got a few degrees under my belt, right?
Well, they were remembering that fight. Like, no,
she's still being punished.
With Wendy.
She's still being punished for that ghetto girl coming out in her. You know what I'm saying? Like Malia's like, I didn't do it. It was really Erica's fault. Like Erica wanted it and she got it.
Thank God.
Yeah. So that's pretty much our recap. And now we're gonna go on to questions. Did you have anything else to add before we get down?
No, ma'am. Let's get it.
All right. Let me pull up my questions. So the first question is yours, Lily.
All righty. Okay, first one. I thought it was strange that Malia woke up and her phone was missing. What would you have done if you found out Chan took your phone? I'm not sure how I would react, actually. I'd probably be like her, like kind of through a loop for a minute, like, wait a minute. I know that one thing I will keep on me is my phone. So what's going on here? And it wasn't just the phone. Her clothes was missing. Like she just
I forgot about that part. Yeah.
No phone, no clothes, no nothing. Just you know,
yeah. I can't leave.
What the hell is this nigga playing? Like I'd be worried actually a little bit. Like what is he playing? He took all my stuff. And me personally, I know like Karina said, I'm an open book and I ain't hiding nothing. So I wouldn't be worried about him like going through it. Matter of fact, you know, you could go while you there, check the Key Bank app and go ahead and bless that account while you in there. Bless a Cash App. Do something productive if you're gonna be all up in my business. But other than that, nah, it just I would be confused and a little scared. Like, okay, what's going on here? She already woke up, you know, a little hungover, and now I'm figuring out, yeah, the drugs, they can have that kind of effect.
And the alcohol mixed together.
Yeah, alcohol, that's a really nasty combo. You wake up just kind of like, blah. I ain't saying that that's something I do. I'm just saying I just happen to know about that. And that, and everybody's been hungover at some point, you know.
Everybody. Don't get in here and get all
the first hangover and she didn't know what it was.
I didn't know what it was. I was in my 30s.
Like the migraine. And I'm like, girl, you're hungover. When she started describing the symptoms and how she was feeling, I said, you're hungover, girl.
I thought I had like COVID or something.
She thought she
get up and go to work.
I was like, girl, go take some ibuprofen and go in
hospital that morning. I had a shift, girl. I couldn't even go. I was done.
I had to call in.
You're like,
I think I'm done.
I did. I didn't know what was. I was like stuck to the bed. I felt like a semi truck had hit me. I could barely lift my neck up. And when I finally did basically crawl out of bed, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And you're like, Karina, you're hungover. I'm like, no. And of course, my cousin and my husband was like, you kind of had a lot last night. You're hungover. I didn't have that much. I only had like two margaritas. I'm like, and they did that. But was it like strong alcohol or something?
No, yeah, I think your husband did make some drinks that night, but Karina, it don't take much for you though.
Lisa, I was stuck. My face was stuck to the bed. I couldn't get up. Missed my shift. I was like, "What is happening to me?" You're like, "You're hungover." And I was like, "What?" Because I've never been hungover. Because I don't overindulge. I know I can't handle nothing. So.
But yeah, that's my thought. I would be a little worried about what's coming next. I don't want to wake up without my clothes. And for me being late, I would have my purse too. At some point.
Yeah, all that isn't.
So to wake up, and everything is gone. And you just sitting there naked in the sheets, you don't know what's about to happen with a swollen cat. Because if it's swollen, you're not trying to do nothing else.
Oh my God.
She's about to come in here and do something else. I can't take it right now. I need to recover.
The same thing. Waking up with a swollen cat, like I'm naked. I got my purse.
Right. What about you?
I would have been a little worried too if I would have woke up. I mean, not to say like she doesn't trust him. But where's my phone at? Like you said, there's no clothes, there's no purse. My cat's swollen. It hurts. The cat is swollen. It hurts.
Girl, that's gonna be the phrase of the day.
So like you said, it's like, what is he coming in here next with? Like a billy club? Like I just need to know, like what else is gonna happen? Because like she woke up and she's hungover and she doesn't even know if she realizes it. Maybe she does, because he definitely came in there with like pills, like, hey, take a couple of aspirin, and so she's like, okay, and she takes it, but she's like, this will help with your headache. And she didn't even say, how did you know I have a headache? Like you just assume.
Well, and the thing is, she just took it so willingly. I'll be like, hold on.
Like, what is this?
Do you need my phone so I can look this up, please, sir? Like, website. Where you could actually look up like pills. You can look them up on the internet.
You have to know what's in the ingredients so she don't mess herself up.
And they will tell you, oh no, this is Tylenol. Oh no, he just gave you 2 perks. You about to settle in for that ride. You about to be gone. A lot of Percocets look like Tylenols.
Now you gave me this, I'm done. Don't you ever call me again. What the devil has jumped into your spirit? I don't want this.
Wake up like hours later, like, you know what? See, the way I'm set up.
Yeah. Girl, be 8 o'clock at night, halfway laid across the bed. Like, is something else happened? No, I don't want it. I don't want it. So yeah, I would have been shocked. I would have been like, where's my phone at? Like, I don't have clothes. So I think that's what it was. If you wake up hungover, you're already like your head hurts. Like a lot of people, if they don't feel that great, you want to just go home. You want to be in your own bed. Like, I mean, his house was set up like it was some kind of, like it was penthouse suite, nice. He has maid service and whatnot, but still, it's not my house. It's not my bed. It's not my blanket. It's not my pillows. It's not my fleece. It ain't my goose down, right? No me gusta. So I don't like this. I want to be in my bed. And I feel like that's where she was kind of at. So I would be alarmed a little bit, like, where's my phone at? And then like, what are you doing with my phone? Like, where? I mean, because he already has access to it. So what are you looking for now that you don't feel like you've seen? I mean, like, is he trying to make sure he's really thorough? That's what I'm wondering. So
probably trying to make sure Mike ain't still in the picture, because I know he went through that mess.
He did. He did. That's the reason why he took it. He was going through it. No, she could be playing games with me. I mean, here investing in her and her family.
Right. Like my surveillance dude called in sick that day. Let me see what she was doing that day.
She was really up too, because she could have just snuck it past me. Yeah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. So the next question is mine. It says, why did the book say Malia woke up feeling embarrassed? What caused her to feel embarrassed? I mean, you know what? Malia threw it back. Malia threw it back. You know what I'm saying? At one point, she took control of the hammer, and she was doing some stuff with it, for her. So she was probably thinking back, like, dang, like I didn't even, how sometimes how you slowly build up to something, not the first time it's good, but like you don't try to kill somebody. And the first time she was like, no, he gotta die tonight. So I think it was just more of like, dang, I just went full throttle on him. But again, I mean, she was a little inebriated. You know, you got somebody who's giving you a little pill that's going to help your libido skyrocket to Jupiter. And then you have some alcohol in you. And so you're feeling real relaxed, you know. And so I think maybe a little sore and naked. I mean, the fact that you ain't got no clothes on, you can't even see like panties. So you don't even have that to like cover up. That he comes in the room and he's fully dressed, and you naked in a sheet.
Like, wait a minute.
I think the morning after can be a little embarrassing, you know. Just because it's, you know, it's the first time you guys are seeing each other naked. Not that we've never seen the human body, but like you get to see all of it, baby. You can see a little stretch mark, you can see a little birthmark, you could see, you know, the little scar from when I burnt myself trying to iron my pants. You know, remember back in the day in the 90s, it was a big deal to have them creases in your, like, we wouldn't leave the house.
You gotta be crisp.
Ironed our pants, baby. We ironed everything back in the day.
Girl,
everything had to be ironed. You did not go outside with no dusty clothes on, baby. You would have got laughed back inside the house. It was the East Side, honey. They wasn't playing that. You was gonna get it.
Girl, had to make sure them creases were crisp.
Creases had to be right. I'm talking about even like the tennis shoes. I mean, you had to hit them up with a little toothbrush and some baking soda and make sure that your kicks was always fresh. I mean, it was a lot of scrutiny. I don't know. The Tacoma was a different kind of place.
That man.
90s was wild. Like people was really on it with clothes.
But I'm glad that, you know, we experienced that together. We grew up together and we know that together. Right. I look back and I'm like, you know, we had some good time. We fought. Yeah. You know, it was always somebody was using somebody. Remember that? It was always back and forth. Oh, you using me for my cable. You using me for cookies.
Yeah, we was always accusing somebody, abusing somebody or something. We definitely thought we was listening to our parents talk too much.
But we also had really good times, you know, riding our bikes and stuff till, you know, it didn't get dark. I swear this is a different sun. I'm not no conspiracy theorist or nothing like that, but this sun is not the yellowish shit we were playing with back in the 90s. I'm sorry. We'd be out there all day, drinking out the water hose. Yeah. This is so yeah, I'm glad that it was us. You know,
right?
We did that together. Right. We had some kicking at times too. Lots, actually. We were every day. We were at each other's house.
I remember going home at night, and like, okay, I can't wait. Like I would literally sometimes go home 9:30, 10 o'clock at her house, and I'd be like, I'm coming over here first thing in the morning. I'd be up, and I would be over there 9 o'clock in the morning, you know, on a Saturday. Her
dad was like, till 9 because if you guys came a minute earlier.
I did.
Dallas Park.
It had to be past 9 o'clock. I remember your dad was like, "Do you know what time it is?" And I was like, "It's 9:05." And he's like, he looked. He's like, "Oh,
like,
come in." Her daddy was not playing that, but I definitely understood. You know, because if you didn't stop us, we'd be over there 7:30. Can they come outside and play? No, Negro, go home.
No,
go home.
Don't wake up.
Like that was a true symbol of like a real friend. If you think about it, like if you knew you couldn't go outside until this stuff was done, and your friends like, well, deuces, I'll holler at you later.
Like, well, come meet me here when you're done with that. Nah, Karina came inside. She's like, okay, and I'm washing dishes. She went through, put them up. Even Courtney's butt, him and Dinky,
taking out trash,
open the tables, taking the trash out, and I'm like, okay, so we could get out there faster.
Yeah,
so we could fight, girl. We couldn't wait to get out there and fight. Or argue, not like fist fight, but like argue.
Yeah, well, we was gonna do something because you know that was us being kids. But yeah, Malia, I think she just was remembering everything that happened the night before and being naked and being sore, and it was a little like, oh Lordy Jesus, what did I do? You know, so and she probably can like sometimes you feel like you have like a little bit of like an outer body experience. She was like, I was really acting up, like you really did your bad one. She did. Did you get a chance to answer that?
Kind of, no, but feeling embarrassed. She probably like just like you said, she came out of character. It was like, you know, hold on, I really put it on him. Like, what does he think about me? Does he think this is how I just be getting down? Like, he gonna be like, oh no, she play innocent.
Everything at me, including the kitchen, the sink, and that bathtub.
Okay, like
he ain't hold nothing back.
No. That you special.
You got me on a good night.
You got me on a good day, right? It was a good night. Yeah. So yeah, she's not sure what he thinks yet. She's
I
just
think
making
you're
it up.
right.
She's like, okay, he didn't know
The
that.
reality is, in the moment, nobody's gonna be like, you did too much. But later on, it's where'd you
Mhm.
do that? You had your leg.
Right. It'll come up in an argument. Yeah, okay.
Up.
Okay. Because I
Yeah.
remember when
You
you took
said
my stuff
5
and
years.
did it yourself. Like, wait.
You said I ain't nothing, and I had you calling me by my name. Okay. Okay. Where's my knife? Don't you talk to me like that.
And you would. You'd be like, where's my knife?
You know
You
I
ready
will
to
too.
hurt somebody. Well, I can't say too much on, whatever. But yep, always carry you a blade. That's the east side thing too.
Very east side. Everybody carried a blade.
Everybody.
My
Everybody.
mom would even encourage me. You got yourself a little knife. You got yourself a little weapon.
And it was years later at the funeral home, when there was like some lady that used to always come around or whatever, and one day I guess she decided to wild out. She started like hitting the building, like hitting the glass or whatever. And so and I just went running because she's like, get ready to fight. And I'm like, that's a free ass whooping. Let's get some practice in. Like, I was ready to swing. So I run downstairs, and Miss Kitty's at the top. And said, you ain't got nothing to fight with. You got you something to fight with. And I'm like, she used to say that when we were kids.
Yeah, my mom believes always get you a weapon. Take you a weapon to a fist fight. Like, don't you just go there with your hands. Get you a weapon too.
That's just me. I just run up and swing, and whatever happens. But no, it's always better to have a weapon.
My mom is always scanning something for a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lock with a sock in it too. I'm not playing with it. Last night, me and T went to the gas station kind of late. I was like, wait a minute, let me go through this car real quick since we had this gas station so late. Let me see what I got up in here. Like, what are you doing? Start pulling out weapons. What is going on? You know who you married. Stop playing with me, bro. You know who you married.
Like, quit playing. All right, so the next question is mine, and it says, Chan was surprised that Malia was not obsessed over her sister's wedding. It seemed like he felt she was uninterested in the idea of marriage. What caused them to question her? What do you think about this? Well, her I don't want to say attitude, but yeah, the way she's like, oh, the marriage and like like mocking it and stuff. And he's like, wait a minute, because he knows he intends on marrying her.
Yeah, he does.
And or Frank gonna die. But no, he
go bye-bye.
He loves her too. But no, he intends on marrying her, and he's just like, kind of wondering, like, okay, is she opposed to this? Because she's never been married. She's had this opportunity with Mike's crusty ass, whatever was going on with Antonio. Yeah, she had all these dusties. She could have been married. They're not dusty. They got money. But I mean, she could have been married.
But you could still be dusty.
Right.
Maybe a dusty.
And so, and especially since all her siblings are married and her mom is, still married to her dad, and her mom is really pushing like, hey, why don't you want to get married? And, you should do this and do that. And so he's just like, oh my God, is this going to be like a waste of my time? Because he knows what he wants to do. He plans on marrying her in the long run. And so he doesn't know if she's opposed to it because she's mocking it. He doesn't know she's mocking it because she's actually paying for it. And and her mom's making a big deal. And like Karina said earlier, they had plans to go out and spend time with each other, and they just canceled on her to go spend time with the other sister. And so, yeah, that's the reason she was mocking. But in his mind, it's, well, wait a minute.
My plan's not working out.
So
she might have to go after all.
That one's gonna hurt him. That's gonna hurt him. This hurts me more than it's gonna hurt you. You made me do this. Like,
oh my God.
What about you, Karina?
Let me go back over and look at the question. I was over here taking my wrap off my ankle. Hurt my ankle yesterday, and I didn't actually hurt my ankle, so I don't know what happened. I was just walking, and then all of a sudden my ankle started hurting. I didn't hit it. I didn't twist. I'm the type of person, I have sympathy pain for other people.
Mm,
So my son said the day before, because he had practice for football on Saturday, that he twisted his ankle. I
mm.
asked him if his ankle was still hurt. He said it was like better because he had it wrapped up over the weekend. So I'm thinking, cool, whatever. And then all of a sudden it was like 6 o'clock, and I was like, why am I limping? And my ankle just started hurting.
Mm.
And I was telling my husband about it, and he said that he hurt his ankle at work. And I'm like, you know what?
Girls are
This is
ankle
something.
binging.
It's an ankle foot over here. So I was taking my wrap off, but I was like, I'm tired of feeling things because other people feel it. So I'm weird like that. Like if somebody close to me is hurting, I can pick up their pain. So I need to figure out how do I pray for myself that I don't do that. I don't want to be catching other
Girl.
people ailments. If you got that cough, keep it over there. I don't want it. So that was that. Let me look at the question. Yeah, I think he was a little surprised. And I have found that even with like some of like my male friends, when I talk to them, they tend to think that women are just really obsessed with like weddings and babies and like houses, and there's just certain things like that.
Mm.
And when women are just kind of like, okay, so that's cool. It's like, why aren't you more ecstatic? Why aren't you more, like losing it for these things? And I'm like, I mean, it's a party, and it's fun,
Mhm.
and kids are great, but it's almost like people expect you to explode with, glee. And for everybody, it's not going to be like that. Of course, Malia already has been ripped off and is irritated about that because she paid for a wedding that nobody asked her if she wanted to pay for. Um, Not only that, she's hungover. The cat is sore. You know what I mean? And so now you're like trying, and then I'm like, she just basically got dumped by her mom and grandmother, who, if she would have pulled out at the last second, would have ripped her in half. Now they didn't dump her to go spend time with Veronica and the new in-laws and all that other stuff. So, so they can showboat to them. She was just really kind of annoyed, but he took it as like, are these your feelings? Because they hadn't really talked marriage. They've just been kind of living in the moment. They've just been enjoying each other's time. And I think he is kind of, he's looking at her like, wait a minute, like if she tell me she don't want to ever be married, don't have no kids, like I'm gonna have to drug her and be like, you didn't remember us going to Vegas? You wanted this.
You wanted this, okay?
You wanted it. So yeah, I think he was definitely a little bit alarmed by the fact that she wasn't overly excited. Like, my little sister's getting married, we're picking up a present. Like, it just wasn't like that. So he was a little worried. And I think it's just something he needs to ask, like, at a later date. Do you want to be married? Like, is that something you want? Because I'm not just out here dating you just because I think you're cute. I want marriage, I want kids. So I think that he needs to put that out there as opposed to side-eyeing her and looking crazy. He needs to make sure that he's saying what it is that he's looking for. So yeah, he did seem like he was a little shocked, but I think that's a lot of people. They just overly assume that what they see on TV with how women act, that's how all
Mhm.
women act, and that's not the case. Not to say like Malia's not going to be happy at some moment in time for her sister or even one of her friends, but she lives in Rose City, and in their
Mhm.
society, people really don't take marriage the way take it as they should. So it's like really hard to be excited about something that is probably be over in 5 years, as a result of your husband cheating on you with like a bunch of different women. You know what I mean? So it's like, why
Mhm.
am I getting so excited about this fairy tale wedding day, and then you have to live with the nightmare? And I don't want to come off as like jaded about like marriage and thinking that all relationships are going to end like that, because they don't do that.
Mhm.
But in this story, a lot of Malia has seen a lot of people stay in some really crappy marriages. She's seen people, families put people together who necessarily wouldn't have chosen each other, maybe.
Mhm.
She's seen people do things for honor, legacy, and because that would be a really good family blend right there. So
Right.
I think for her, the idea of marriage, it sounds nice if it's with the right person and it's going to be truly something good. Because she could have been married to Mike with all his handsomeness and cheating ways, and then she would have been somewhere like just like Addison,
Somewhere miserable. Yeah, I
finding
was
her
just about to
somebody,
say, like that girl she had to put together. That would have been
put them
her.
together, honey,
I mean,
graciously gathered her
gracious
body,
goodness at her.
all
Yeah.
together. So yeah,
Mhm.
I just feel like he was shocked because a lot of people think that women just, oh my god, and I know exactly what kind of dress I want. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. So have you picked out your suit for court for the divorce as well? So I think that's
Right.
kind of like Malia's mind. She's just like, listen, if we're gonna do this, like, let's just be done, one and done. Let's just do it. Let's do it right. Let's take this thing serious. Let's not play games. So yeah, that was what I had to say.